I messed up my timer. This is not a good start. I'm gonna make a game, but I can't even make a timer. There we go. Now we have a timer. Okay, let's create breakout. So, I created the folder, breakout. Now I'm opening the file, breakout. Here we go, breakout. This is a good start. Let's get to it. Use Freya Flow, which is the library that I create all my games with. Then we define a render function, and we get the element that contains the game. Now we just draw a rectangle. That's XY00, 100 width, 20 high, blue color, very nice. And we'll create an on, let's wait with that. Then we call start game. And my mic is over here, so let's move it. Start game, because we want to start the game and say render. The render function should be the function render. And now we got the blue box. And maybe we want a different background. I don't know what that might be, but maybe 0.2 something. That's almost identical, but whatever. Okay. Next step. I don't want the game to be a random size like this, so let's make it size maybe 200 by 200. Maybe a bit bigger. I realize now that the timer will cover the game, which is not what I want. Let's move me and the timer over the code instead. Yes, I'm making perfect use of my limited time. Here we go. At least now we can see the game. Okay. Let's see. Maybe like this. Maybe a bit taller. We can also do some scaling to make it too big to fit in the screen. But I don't know if I want the scaling or not. It depends on if we want some rough pixels or not. And in this case, I don't think I'll be using any pixel art. So, or maybe I will. I don't think I have time. Okay, so let's do this instead. And we could set a different surrounding color, like black. Or maybe something like this. Very dark, but not completely black. Okay, so now we have the game. First of all, I want to create the ball. So we say draw circle, 50-50, 10 red. That did not work because I should use, does this work? Draw circle V, there we go. Okay, we have a ball. Red, that looks ugly, so let's make it something like this. That's maybe a bit too dark instead. Why should it be red? Can't it be purple? That's better. Okay, this won't scale very well, like positions hard-coded and stuff. So I'm actually gonna create an array called game objects. And then I'm gonna create the ball, and the ball will be a table, a hash map containing, among other things, render. And let's call it ball render. And then I copy paste this and I say define ball render game object, maybe self. Excellent. And I guess I could do this array push goes ball, and let's call this, let's say we have an init function so we can reset the game later. Array clear game objects, and then we say when we run this code from Freya loading file, then we call init. we won't want to run this code like this when we are building our executable, but in this situation it's okay. Next, the ball isn't showing. Why is the ball not showing? Because we need to loop through the game objects, and we need to call render on them. Now we call render. I realize maybe I should make the code a bit bigger, just for you. So we loop through, call render, the ball is there, great, but we still use absolute positions. So instead I write pos here and say extract pos from the table, and now we get crashes again because we haven't defined what we haven't put pos in our ball. So we say pos, and it could be tuple. Now this doesn't work. Oh, I see. Now I have a new... Wait, I'm gonna make the timer window a bit smaller so I can see the errors. But you don't get to see them, so I look like a master programmer who never commit any faults. Because that's what master programmers do. Okay. Let's see. Compilation errors. Loop render. Oh, of course, one parenthesis too few. Because, yeah, Lisp. Hey. Now we have the ball, and it has a position, and we also want to move the ball around. So let's create an update function called ball update. And I guess I want update first, because update runs first. And then we say on update, we say update self, update the position, and add self velocity multiplied by get frame time, which is just the delta time since the last frame. Compilation error, load file, works well. Now we need a velocity too. So let's say it starts by going straight down. And let's see, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. The ball isn't moving. Why isn't it moving? Because we aren't looping through the game objects and calling update on them. So let's do that. Still not working. We're updating the game objects, but nothing is happening. We update the pos. Oh, it's because this number is way too small. So vel can be bigger. Oh, and let's make it positive instead. There we go. Now the ball is moving. And we got a bunch of stuff going on, but essentially we have a velocity, a position, and we change the position based on the velocity each frame when it calls update. Oh, okay. But we need to bounce the ball on stuff, otherwise it's not a fun breakout game. So let's create a grid. And we're just gonna say create grid and put the goals as an argument, and then we define define create grid, and we take the goals as the argument and say loop x. Let's see, we need some variables, like where should this grid start? It should of course start at an x and y position, and in this case I've hard coded the width of the game, so I'm gonna hard code the start positions. And we could even say padding left. Let's say padding left, top, right, bottom, left, like in CSS. So let's do that. And then we say size. And that should be the same as game size. So let's move this and say game size. And at the top we say def game size. So now we have our game size there, and we need to go back to create grid, and we say now we can use game size instead. Okay, so we have a start pos. Now we need the total width, or maybe inner size is a good one. So we say that it should be a vector, and we say we got width and height from game size, and we say plus minus width padding 1 and padding 3. So that is the right and left padding, and then we do the same for the height, which would be the top and bottom padding. Now we got the inner size. So we got our start position, which is the right padding. We got the max size we can go to. Now we can say nof, oops, not there, Lisp again, nof, how many tiles should be in a row? So let's say tiles per row, let's say it should be 10. And then we can get the tile size, and it should be inner size divided by tiles per row let's say tiles per axis instead. So we get 10 on the x and the 5 on the y, for example, because then we can do v/v multiply. So we multiply inner size by 1 divided by, oh wait, this isn't quite right. Oh, I don't have the right function here to do this. That's a shame. So let's do it the ugly way for now. So we say inner size 0. Or I guess we could just map instead if we want to be fancy. We could say map inner size and tiles per axis, and I think it's like this, and just divide like this. And now we've written a lot of code without seeing anything, which is boring. So for now I'm gonna print tile size, which you won't see, I realize, but I will see it, and it's 44,116. I think that makes some sense. So for now, let's go with that. So now we're ready. Now we can loop. Let's see. We loop y in 0 tiles per axis 1 and x in 0 tiles per axis 0. Something like this. And now we want to array push, and we need the game objects thing we have here. We push a new tile, and it wants a position as well, of course. And what is the position? The position is x multiplied by tile size and y multiplied, tile size 0 and y multiplied by tile size 1. And I mess something up. Here we go. We don't have the new tile function, and maybe we could add the size as well. So we add the tile size, and then we say defn new tile, and we said it would take a pos and size, and we do just as pos size. Then of course we need a render, render tile, defn, whoops, render tile self. We just need pos and size, draw rectangle pose size. For now they can be red. Size is unknown. Oh, it should be, whoops, keyword size. Load file. 943. What is it saying? It says unknown symbol X, but X is here. So how can it be unknown? Load file. Line 44. Oh, I'm outside the loop. Lisp again. I haven't added structural editing yet, which is sad. Now I'm getting a bunch of errors. Let's see. Update. Oh, right. It doesn't have an update function. So now I need to restart because I haven't made a try catch. Make it a bit bigger. Update update tile, but that should be noob for now, which just means do nothing. There we go. More errors. Oh, there we go. Now we see some tiles over there, which is interesting, but they look very strange. So first I'm just gonna print the X and Y values to see what's happening. So we got 0, 0 and then 10, 0. And that's because it shouldn't be in, it should be range. Because in, then we would get 0 and then this one. But we want to loop from this to this instead. And now it looks better. But now we have other problems. First of all, there's no padding between the tiles. Second, they are not respecting the start position. So we have to our X value, we're gonna move this. Say X and, or let's say pos instead. And then in our loop, we say let X and Y. And then, or let's say pos instead. Yeah. And then we say the X value, to it we add padding 3, which is the left. And then to the right we say plus padding 0, which is the top. Top, right, bottom, left. Load file. Yes, now it respects the padding. Great. Next problem then is that there is no space in between. So then we can define space in between. And let's say 3 maybe. Or maybe 3, 3. And then on tile size, we can say that you should subtract the space in between. Let's just call it spacing for now. Spacing. And then here when we multiply by tile size, we need to add spacing 0. And here too we say plus spacing 1. Load file. Lisp errors. Why haven't I implemented structural editing yet? I don't know. 53 mismatch. Let's see. What? There we go. Load file. Now it looks strange again. What happened? Pos X Y. I'm gonna pretty print pos again. And we see it goes from 0 to 440. So something got messed up here. Tile size, spacing. Let's see what the tile size is. And just so you can see it, I can actually draw text, tile size, Oh, but this is just when it is created, of course. We can do it in render tile, I guess. So here we could draw the size, and we draw it at 1010, color white, load file, and here we see 41, 113. That sounds about right. Let's try setting spacing to 0, 0. Load file. Looks okay. So I messed something up here. Oh, the multiply thing went too far because Lisp. Oh, I'm not doing Lisp justice here. Okay, there we go. And now we re-add the spacing, load file. Very nice. And now we see that our X and Y stuff got a bit messed up. So what happened here? Oh, right. So we say 5 rows, but take the full screen. And if we're going for a more classic breakout game at least, they mostly cover the top of the screen. So we increase the bottom padding, top, right, bottom. So we say 50, 100. This makes no difference for some reason, because why? Padding, top, right, bottom. Inner size should be smaller now. I'm gonna print inner size. I'm sorry you can't see it. Oh, inner size is the same. That's not right. Am I not using padding 1, 2, 3? I am here. Minus padding 3. This looks strange to me. Is it using this one then? It is using the top one. 0. Oh, it should be 2 here, and this one should be 3. And this, no, wait. 1 and 3, and this should be 0 and 2. There we go. And now we can say 100 maybe, or 200, or 300, 250. Oh, 350. Somehow I want more rows, I think. So more rows. And at least as the game looks now, I actually want fewer columns. Oh, what? Now something got messed up. I think I know why, but ignore that for now. I'm not getting the right feeling right now. Maybe it should be even more on the height. Yeah, maybe something like this. Now we get this cool effect when the circle goes behind. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, so what's happening now is that our drawing function expects flat numbers. So we're gonna do math floor here. Math floor, load file. And now we can still get errors. Why do we get errors? I guess I'm gonna have to check the terminal. Yeah, that was the problem. Render tile, 24, pos, maybe pos, yeah, we need to floor both size and pos. So we say map, let's see, we have to do this then. We say tile size, map math, floor tile size, load file. Now we should have no problem. Yes, nice. And maybe this should be even higher, 450. Maybe something like this. And then some at the top as well. I don't know, maybe something like this. We'll try it. I don't know why I'm getting a strange feeling from this. Something is off. Oh, a green coder. It's not Closure, it's Janet. So yeah, what I use is Freya, which is an editor I built, and I use a built-in library called Flow, which in turn is using Raylib. So Raylib is the graphics and everything else library. Okay, so now we have the ball, but we would like it to start colliding with things. So let's see. In the ball update, we're gonna say, and now we need the reference to the game objects thing anytime. Yeah, what Achanina said. It looks a lot like Closure, but feels a lot like Lua, which is a great mix for games, I think. So now in the ball update, we're just gonna loop through all the game objects and say when not equal self game object. So we can't collect with ourselves. At least in games you can't. In real life you can do a lot of hypocritic stuff. Anyway, we have, let's see, I can't remember the name of a function, so I could do, let's see, I can say require Freya, or maybe I have, let's see, what do I have? I have get n, maybe. I think it's fiber get env. Is it just like this? It's just, and maybe it's just get m. I don't think this is how you have to do it. Okay, so now we say keys, and then I say filter where string find collision in the key, run it, and now I get some results over here. So here we see all the collision functions, and now I want circle rec. So let's use check collision circle rec. Check collision circle rec. Game object is the circle. Oh right, and in this case we need to give it the position and then the radius and then the rec. Let's see. Oh, this should be self because we are the circle. And then the rec would be like this. And we say go. Let's see. The position and then the size. So we could say let pos p size s go. There we go. Okay, so now when the ball collides with something, we are gonna call break on the tile or the game object. So then we need to add a break function to the tile. Break tile. Define break tile, and I guess so we want self, and then we want what broke the tile. So we say breaker, and for now we say print broke tile, and then we call it with self, load file, get tons of errors. Gonna look here. Expected number in circle rec, right? Because I think I'm gonna fix something here. We don't have a radius on the ball, so we say radius 15 or something. Make the text bigger, and I'm actually gonna add a try catch around render. Try to so I don't need to restart air fib and just print the stack trace fib air. File. Okay, now we should be able to throw errors without Freya breaking. I should do this by default, but you know how it is. Remove the draw text. Okay, and now it prints a bunch of broke tile down here. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're halfway through. I need to pick up the speed a bit. So let's break the tile. And for now, I'm just gonna say put self dead true. Or maybe dead is a bit harsh. Maybe we should say put self remove true. And then in the between update and render, we say var I 0 and say while I is lower than length of game objects, we say if in goes I, if this has remove set to true, then we say array remove goes I, otherwise we say plus plus I. So this just loops through the array every frame and removes all game objects that has remove set to true. And now we hit load, and now we see that it breaks the tiles. So this is a great monumental step. So what we want now, of course, is for the ball to bounce away. And I'm not sure how to do this in the best way. Let's see. There are some ways we could do this. For now, let's do it the stupid way, which is we say update self vel, and let's say it should be multiplied by -1. And now we broke something. Oh, it should be v/v multiplied. Okay, now it collides, but it goes a bit too deep, I think. So let's, after it has collided, we apply the velocity too. So now it should change direction immediately. Then we need to check an out of bounds check. So let's see. And I guess we could do it like this. We do a var collided false. And here we say collided set collided true. And then at the end we do a when collided change the direction and apply the new velocity. And then we can also see when pos1 minus radius, let's do this, let xy, so or wait, pos self, and then radius r. So let's say x r y b, just defining some variables. So when x minus r is lower than or equal to 0, then we say set collided true. Load file. That did not work, so let's put a trace on this one. Load file, and I guess we could do a draw text so you get to see. Draw text 10 color white. Load file. Oh right, it won't return that value, or will it? Yes, it will. So now we see it's always 35 because this is x and we wanted to check y. We still get the same problem when this is lower than 0, and it should become lower and then bounce back. Print collide. Now gonna print collided. Oh, I guess I don't see much of that. I pretty print too much right now. Okay, it wasn't that much. Let's see. Why does it go out of bounds? Oh, I realized another thing. We should use the radius too when rendering. Load file. Anyway, it goes out the top. Then we could do another draw text here. Maybe, or let's do this. Print collided with top file. It's never true. Okay. When maybe this does return nil. Then let's try go back. Oh, okay. So draw text didn't return the value. I thought it did that. Let's see. How does it look now? It looks okay. Yes. I want to add some randomness to the x velocity when it collides. So let's say update self, let's say update in self vel 0 plus math random. How does this look? And multiply it by 2 maybe. Oh right, and I want it to be -1. So it can go both directions. So this is now it's normalized between 0 and 1, and then we can multiply it to get a greater effect, I think. Yes, so now it bounces around a bit. And I think I want the velocity to become greater as well. So instead of multiplying by -1, we say multiply by -1.05. So now it should go a bit faster each time. And that's what's happening. And then let's see. Oh, now it goes out the end. And when that happens, of course, we lose. So let's for now put a var here saying lost. I'm actually gonna, let's do that for now. Lost false. Oh, now I have 23 minutes. So when this happens, when it goes out the bottom, that would be when y plus r is greater than game size 1, which is the height, then we say set lost true. Load file. And for now, we're gonna increase the speed of this a lot. Oh, that's too much apparently. Wow, is it that bad? Okay, so the speed is a bit too much. Okay, it's okay. We're just gonna test what happens when we lose. So for this, I want to do, let's see. We're gonna call a render UI at the end, and then we're gonna define render UI and say when lost clear background a very dark color, and let's say draw text you lost sad face, and let's put it in the middle of game size 0.5 and center true, color white. Great. Clear background didn't work here, so we're instead going to say draw a rectangle and say 0, game size 0.1.5. Nice. Now we need to be able to restart, so we're gonna add some functions to deal with inputs. So we say define on event, and we say check the event, and we can match on that, some pattern matching, and we say key down. Let's use R to restart. Then we say set loss, then we can just call init. So I hit R here. nothing happens because we are not resetting lost right now. So we set lost false. Nothing is happening. Let's do a print here. Do print wet. And just for good measure, we can say like else pretty print the event just to see. Key, it says wet, so that's good. But in it doesn't seem to do what I want to do. It should set lost false. So it does print. Um, 20 minutes left and we can't even lose yet. That sounds like a good thing, but it's very boring to play breakout where you can't lose. Var lost false. Render UI when lost. Can I put a draw text? For now I'm just gonna do a trace v. Sorry about that. Lost is true. I hit R. Lost is still true. Can I put a trace v lost here too? I guess I won't. It is setting lost to false. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm gonna try restarting. Nope. Okay, then I'm just gonna try a different approach. I don't know what's going on here. We're gonna create a state and say lost false. Or let's initialize the state in init instead. So we can say table clear state, put state lost false. Something like this. We don't actually need to set it to false, but and then we say when state v state lost. And then init yes, and now we need to, instead of set lost, we need to say put set lost. We say put state lost true. Let's see. Still can't restart. What? Can I do a trace v here? Trace v. Let's draw the state here. Draw text state 1010 color white. Lost false, lost true. Yeah, lost is definitely true. Print. Wait. I'm not resetting the ball's position, so we lose immediately. Of course. This is not good. So where did the ball go? Here. So instead in ball we're doing table clear ball, table, let's see, table merge into ball, and this stuff. This is not super clean code, but we'll have to live with that for now. Merge into. Oh, it's just merge into. Load file. Let's see. Yes, now we can restart the game. Great. We can lose, we can restart, and let's even tell the player. Maybe press R to restart. Yes, Nice. All right, this isn't centered, so let's put it in a new, in another draw text. Remove that part, remove that part. I guess now this is too, now we're getting into too much detail. Remove drawing the state. Okay, so now we need to first of all maybe not lose so quickly, and I think we're gonna do the classic where the ball starts in the middle somewhere. So let's see. Where is it? Here we go. So I think something like this is a better speed increase. And then we go into the merge into, we created a ball and say it should go in the middle for now. Game size multiplied by 0.5. Yeah, I think this is okay. And I wonder if it should start by going upwards maybe. Okay, now it's starting to look a little bit more like breakout. Now we just need a paddle. I'm feeling that the game might be a bit too tall, but one thing at a time. I think that's something that's a bit interesting with games recently, that because we're so used to widescreen monitors, all games are widescreen, but when it comes to some games like fighting games, I feel the games have gotten a lot slower because the distance is so huge. Like comparing Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is on a 4:3 display, with Ultimate, where the characters can be so far from each other. Same with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 versus Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's just so much more intense on the 4:3 aspect ratio. And I think that is something to keep in mind when doing this. Like just bringing the bottom higher up can make the game more interesting. But we can't even move a paddle right now. We don't even have a paddle. This is just a rectangle. Now we need to create the paddle. So I want a global reference to the paddle as well. So I'm gonna move ball up here and do the same for the paddle. And this way of managing state is not super nice. So you can do it in better ways. But when we just need to put something together, it's okay. And then we say paddle update, paddle render, and we don't want no stinking radius, we want a size. Something like that. Velocity can be 0, 0. And then I want the in, which is our input to the game. So I guess let's create paddle update and render. Define paddle render. Pose, size. Draw rectangle. Pose size. There now. And then we need paddle update. For now it won't do anything. Load file. The paddle is gone because we haven't pushed it. Array push. Load file. Now I have the paddle. The position makes no sense, but that's okay. Now we get some crashes when the ball collides with the paddle. That's also okay for now. Gonna put the paddle at the bottom, so we say game size 0 multiplied by 0.5, and we say minus 50, which is our size, and the y should be game size 1 minus, I don't know, 30. Load file. Maybe a bit more. Something like that. Okay, now we need some input. let's do it this way first. First in the paddle update, we want to move the paddle around. So we copy this code from ball update and say update the position based on the velocity. Great, but the velocity is 0. So now we need to update the velocity. Update self, oh shit, only 10 minutes left. Update the velocity based on our input. So we say v/v plus self in, and we multiply this by get frame time. Let's do that. And then maybe, let's see, we multiply this by our speed. Load file. Getting some problems because we have no speed defined. And then we say merge into paddle speed, I don't know, 100 maybe. Now we get some problems. Self speed. What is the error? V-op in paddle update. We don't get to see the error. Oh right, stack trace. We need to add an empty string at the end. Expected something but got nil. We have vel speed in. Then we look at the paddle update. Self in, self speed, self vel, and it is this one, right? Yes. So self in, load file, still errors. I thought self in would be something at least. Trace, self in is 0, 0. Oh, velocity, that's the problem. Vel, there we go. That's better. Okay, but in is always 0, 0, and that's what we're gonna fix in on event. So we're gonna match key down k and say when key down is in, we don't have time, so we say a. When key down a, then we say put paddle, put in paddle in 0 -1. And when we say key down D, put it as 1, and then we do the opposite for release. Or wait, sorry, we can't do put in, we need to say update, decrease. Update in, increase. And then we do the opposite for release. So when just opposite. Load file, and now we try. We get crashes, that's great. And that's because we have some floats again. So now we're gonna go to render paddle. Render paddle, render, and we're just gonna floor the position. Load 5. Now it's working. It's the acceleration is super slow, so we're gonna increase speed to 1000. Now it's a bit better, but I think we can do even better. Yes, now it's very fast. And now the max speed is a bit too much instead. So I want to have some glidiness, but not so much. So we're gonna put max speed on the velocity. So we're gonna say update self vel, and let's focus on 0 for now. So the X position. Update the X position and say I don't know if I have a clamp function, so I'm gonna do min, I don't know, minus self max speed, and oh sorry, the biggest and then the minest, and then put the current velocity in, and then we're gonna have to set a max speed 100 maybe, that's way too slow, 500 maybe, that's better, increase the acceleration, 900 maybe, yeah, now it's pretty good. I wanted to slow down very quickly when we release the key, but I don't have time with that, so now we're gonna have to fix the collision. Let's see, so we say if the game object that the ball collides with has break, then it runs break. Otherwise we say, I don't know if we need to do anything. Let's try it now. Yes, it works. And I think the starting speed is a bit too slow on the ball. So merge into velocity, multiply that. Now we get errors. What error did we get? Oh, I accidentally typed an E when me load 5. Oh wow, that's too fast. Yeah, something like this maybe. And now we have a few minutes left. Now we need to be able to win. So we're gonna say, where's our init function? Let's do it like this. Let's remove the trace. When we win, we say you won, and maybe the background could be bright instead. And say color black. And now we need to go to init and say put 1 false. Put 1 false. And I think we're gonna do this too. Unless state lost or state 1. There we go. Let's see. 2 minutes left. Was there something more? Yes, we need to check if we did win or lose, and I'm gonna do it here for now. So when the length of the game objects is equal to 2, then we say put state 1 true. I think this will be right. Like that. So that's when only the ball and the paddle is left. And to try this, we can create a bit fewer tiles. Create grid, and I want tiles per axis to be 1. Yes. Oh wow, there shouldn't be a sad face there. Why can't I search for that? That's strange. Oh, because it was a sad face. You won, happy face. Nice. Create grid. We have another problem though, that the ball can go off to the right and left. And I have 1 minute to fix that. I don't remember what I set these to, that's great. So we're gonna say when x, same like this, but for x instead, when x, when that's lower than, or when that's greater than game size 0. Now I think we're safe. Whew. 30 seconds to spare. I don't have a good way to try this though. Maybe I need to make this X randomness a bit bigger. Oh, whoops. This slider thing is way too hard. But I think I think I managed to create the game at least. Yes. I need to make... Now I'm gonna say I completed this part, and now I'm just gonna fix the paddle so it doesn't float around so much. So we're gonna say something like, I don't know, when get in self. When we're releasing the key, let's for now just put in self val 0, 0. So now it stops immediately, I thought. Self when this is 0. So now it stops very quickly. It has some acceleration and then it stops super quickly. Okay, so now we can actually play the game. I think maybe this is floating around a bit too much, but it's okay. Oh wow. Okay. Oh. Yeah, as you can see, some work on the physics might be needed. Oh, and maybe the ball will start going too fast. Okay, maybe you can't win this after all. Maybe if you're lucky with the random X values. Anyway, I'm gonna say that I'm done for now. So, thanks for watching. I'll upload the source code and stuff if you want to check it out. I can do that immediately. Git init, git status, git add, git commit, breakout in 1 hour and a minute or something. And that's great. GitHub repository. Breakout. Example breakout in Freya. Create repository. Copy. Push the stuff. Okay, so now you have the repository here, if you would like to check it out. I guess I could even put the link in the chat, so you don't have to type. Okay, that's that for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.